Hey, George here again with the Art of Water. I want to talk to you a little bit about solo tanks versus community tanks and, breeding, basically. I have done both. I've had community tanks where I have bred tetras and rasboras, several different kinds of varieties of fish. I've also done the solo tanks with the bettas and that sort of thing where I've bred betta fish. And if you're getting into that sort of thing, you have to really think about what you're getting into because there's a lot more work involved in it than you might think. It's fun if you have kids. Kids love watching baby fish be born and the aquarium filled with them and all the process that goes into that. Betta fish, same thing. It's a very interesting ritualistic thing with the betta fish. I think more interesting than community fish because of the way that they go about it. But you have to talk to yourself and ask yourself whether or not you're interested in getting into that, because then you're going to find yourself with a whole bunch of small fish and you're going to say to yourself, what am I going to do with these? And to be honest with you, if you really haven't thought it through, it's probably something you shouldn't get into. If you are thinking about it, that's fine. That's fine. But I would start out with something small, something that you can control, something that you obviously don't have to put a lot of work into, and make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know your tank, you know what you're doing, and make sure that you have an understanding of what your goal is in the end when you are breeding. Now, I've bred, like I said, betta fish before. It was fun to do. I just don't do it anymore because I enjoy walking into a room and simply looking at the fish in the tank and enjoying them. There is nothing better than this right here as a good example of watching this betta fish sort of interacting with its environment in a very healthy, clean tank that I know is, everything about it is top notch. There isn't anything in this tank that I don't know about because I keep an eye on it, and I just enjoy walking in the room. This happens to be a spare bathroom in our home that we have this little 5-gallon in, and this betta fish is absolutely thriving in here. Loves it. We love coming in here. Our guests that stay at our home come in here, and it's just really a nice conversation piece for a company that comes over and stays with you. And also, a community fish tank can be the same thing. We have those in our family room, and again, they're pristine tanks. They're tanks that we take care of. Like I said, I'm here all the time, so I can get on top of things. I can catch things very quickly if there's a problem. And if you're breeding fish, that's just a lot more work. And you have to ask yourself, are you willing to do that? Are you willing to, get into the breeding process and put the time in it, because it does take time. It's not something you just simply decide to do and it just happens. There's things that you have to do. You have to research and check and make sure that you know what you're doing before you ever get into the breeding process. I don't care if it's with a community tank or a solo tank, betta fish, tetras, rasboras, any of those types of fish that I have dealt with in the past. And like I said, I've got into breeding both. But I found that it was just too much work. Even though I'm home all the time, I just didn't want to deal with a fish tank that I had to continuously control the environment all the time, not knowing whether or not my fish were breeding in there. And, you wake up one morning and you've got a bunch of fry in your tank. So something to think about, not something that I think that's really important to make a huge decision on, but if you are going to do it, I think you need to give it some thought and decide, hey, I'm going to have a bunch of these baby fish. What am I going to end up doing with them? You really have to have an idea of what the consequences of breeding are. It's fun. It's fun to do once or twice maybe. But if you're somebody that's just wanting to enjoy an aquarium, such as this kind of an aquarium or a community tank of some sort, then maybe that's your thing. Maybe you enjoy it by just coming in and looking at it and knowing that it's a healthy tank and that the minimal amount of work has to be done to take care of it. And in doing so, you just enjoy the tank. Just enjoy the tank. You know, there's nothing more beautiful than throwing in, say, in a 20-gallon tank, throwing in 15 or 20 neon tetras or amber tetras, or a combination of the two, and just walking into that environment and seeing the beauty of that tank, just seeing the beauty of the tank and enjoying it for what it is and just making it that simple. So this is George with The Art of Water, and we'll talk again soon. And something coming up here in the next couple of weeks is something special that I have going on. I'm doing a build right now at a friend's home who basically has decided to put in a 500-gallon aquarium between his family living in his kitchen area. It's going to be a CO2 tank that's going to have a beautiful, simplistic, modern, but beautiful aquascape tank that I think that you guys are really, really going to be in awe of and really enjoy. You're going to see a tremendous amount of work going into this, and we're going to film it all, and that's going to be coming up here in the next couple weeks to a month. Right now, this friend is out of town for a few weeks in Italy, and he'll be home. They're just finishing up their new home, and we're going to be starting on that when he gets back. So something to look forward to, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we start the build on that. Anyways, this is George with The Art of Water, and we'll talk again soon.